Oh my goodness, it's a shark. Phew, we got him. That was a close one. So here's Harpoon Lagoon. This is one of the very few times we've got an exact release date. Yeah, I've got a few sources claiming this game was released December 30th, 2013. It comes to us from Ice Games and Sega. So the objective is real simple. There's an aquarium full of sea life that grant you tickets when caught. You gotta trick shot your harpoon at the creatures you want to pack into your bag. The harpoon stops at the first impact, and on some close calls, you can actually get 2 on 1 harpoon shot. The ticket payouts will depend on your configuration, but I'm finding most fish are worth peanuts. It has these vague settings like payout percentage and maximum bonus ticket. So maybe somewhere in there is what determines the tickets for the creatures you collect. The bag does count the weight for all the creatures, so it could be related to that. For larger values, there are 2 important creatures to consider. The first one is the big shark. This one periodically zooms across the screen, and in my eyes, this is viewed as the minor jackpot. It's accompanied by an escort crew of lil sharks. These guys are here to tank the harpoon shot for the commissioner. This means you really gotta thread the needle to avoid the brave boys and bag yourself the main shark. There is a delicate balancing act of needing to both act fast and be patient with the shark lineups. I say this because the game can set how many shots you get per play. Most importantly, they can adjust time limit for shoot. So you can wait out the occasional bad shark lineup, but this is a mild gamble because you might be stuck with an even worse lineup and run out of time. You may have noticed this is a multiplayer game. This can actually open up a strategy where you control both players on the same side. You have one player intentionally take a lil shark and create an opening for an easier shot on the main shark for the second player. Multiplayer does also open up the opportunity for ticket farming degenerates to try and snipe you, so be careful of your surroundings. Not really sure how I feel about the double fisting harpoons strategy. It does make the main shark a bit easier to get, but it also doubles your cost to play. I feel like getting the shark solo is far more stylish. I mean, as stylish as farming children's arcade games can get. For a larger payout, you want to look out for this jellyfish in the middle. I'm not really sure what determines the spawn frequency of this one. This game does have a setting for target payouts, so it might be related to that. Give me a sec for a little rant tangent. Okay guys, f this jellyfish. This game has been a popular request for about a year, and I'm really sorry to have delayed this one for so long. It was the jellyfish's fault. I've been periodically checking in on this game for over half a year or so, passively collecting footage and forming an opinion on this game. Only recently did I encounter my first jellyfish. I was going to give up and publish this video without the jellyfish, just because I didn't want to delay this one any further. But here I am, rewriting part of the script because I've now seen the major jackpot for the first time. I could have confirmation bias and just be playing on a really stingy configuration of this game, but this feels like a rare occurrence. I didn't see the jellyfish spawn, but after a family finished playing on the cab, I took a look at the game, and lo and behold, there was a jellyfish. The game is generally littered with lots of garbage fish that make your shot harder, but the jellyfish did feel easier to trick shot than some of the shark lineups. The game is on a rotational payout, so maybe that influences the board spawns. Some sharks have pretty easy opportunities, while others are just tucked deep away into a mosh pit of sea life. I'm just speculating here, maybe every shark has a hypothetical window, but sometimes the board just feels overwhelming. As a game itself, I think it's an interesting novelty. It kind of reminds me of old Flash games like Gold Miner. Hey, if we can have 10 million mobile game ports, why not start porting Flash games to the Redemption Arcade? Gold Miner would be a cool adaptation. I do like the premise of a table screen and having to trick shot moving targets. This feels more inspired than a lot of these shameless money-grabbing games. But going back to the tickets, this is a game that I am really flip-flopping on for how I feel about the game. Some days you just get hard screwed by the spawns, and other days you can get several sharks in one play. I really don't feel confident in placing this one on the tier list. I feel like a configuration that's more generous with the Jellyfish could place pretty high on the list. If I'm leaning more into my personal feelings, this one feels like it's on the slightly lower side of B tier. I think it's a rotational payout game that can be situationally ticket viable, but is not consistent enough for me to place any higher. It's definitely better than everything in C tier and lower, but would feel wrong to place it within B+ or higher. Being among games like Willy Crash feels appropriate. Sometimes it's okay for tickets, but not consistent enough for me. I could very well be sleeping on games like these. The tells of the major jackpot don't feel obvious to me. A game like Zombie Snatcher requires you to look at the LEDs above, look at the board below, and then play if you think it's a good opportunity. But with this game, you need to linger around the cab and hope some casuals can spawn the jellyfish for you. If that jellyfish is tied to the payout percentage, then I don't really like the idea of farming sharks. The better you perform at bagging those sharks, the further you would be hypothetically pulling the payout percentage away from a high-paying jellyfish. This is all just me speculating. I'm not really sure what decides a lot of this game's behavior. I think this game is good enough that it's worth taking a look at the next time you visit your local kiddie casino. Depending on how they configure it, your copy might have some buried treasure.